So, the long await for Sue Gray is nearly over. Are we excited? The Metropolitan Police has concluded their four-month £460,000 investigation into Partygate. Scotland Yard confirmed that the Prime Minister got only one of 126 fines for law-breaking parties at the heart of Downing Street, despite him attending gatherings for which other people were fined. So £500,000, Nadia, has this been a worthwhile exercise?
Do you know what makes me so cross about this? If they had just fessed up, we wouldn't have had to pay £500,000. They have cost us £500,000 with playing around with the truth, playing games the whole time about what they've done and what they misunderstood, and what the actual rule makers. I'm furious, and I also think it's really, really important that we do keep talking about this, because this shows the character of the people that are running the country. I didn't care a jot about anyone else breaking the rules, but with them, I really, really minded.
Why?
I'm thinking,
why was it so important?
Because I'm thinking, I mean, any one of us can pluck 100 stories, can't we, that we've heard. The little old lady who was having the cup of tea with her neighbours and the police knocked on her door at 10 o'clock at night. The people that weren't able to hug their family members, you know, when they were at funerals. People that weren't able to be at the birth of their children. I'm thinking of all those people. I didn't have any of those horrible experiences during the pandemic, but plenty of people did, because they were rigidly sticking to the rules that they've been told were vitally important to save lives.
And those
but
people,
not that lot.
And those people feel like mugs now because they went along with it and they found out that actually you could, if you were an MP, you could have done this, and you could have, if you were in Downing Street, there's a different set of rules. So for me, I do think it was a waste of time. However, it's
what was a waste of time?
Well, what was a waste of time is spending 4 months and £500,000 investigating whether people did things or not that the police didn't witness at the time. Problem is, that's easy for me to say in hindsight, isn't it? I can say now it was a waste of time. We had to go through those 4 months for them to see if there was any new information. So they have to have done that for us to have then said
I completely, totally disagree with you, because I think there was no point in having an investigation. They didn't investigate anybody else. They just gave them fines. What about the gym owner and the hairdresser who didn't close their shops because they were told to? They were fined thousands of pounds on the spot. And these fines are, I mean, they're paltry. They're just, it's pathetic. And they've spent £500,000 trying to work out where people had photographic footage.
Well, yeah, and of course the fine,
what actually happened.
depending
so
what it is, if
point?
it's a fixed penalty notice, whether it's £50 or £100 or whatever, if you're earning 140 grand a year, that's really not going to mean very much to you. Whereas, I mean, my daughter was first year university when it all started, and, you know, young people 18 years of age away from home for the first time were getting fined willy-nilly. And there was no recourse, there was no big investigation. It was, there you go, you're having a party, you know, no questions answered, and on you go.
Well, the point was, being fined for having a party. I mean, for God's sake.
The point was
against
with the
the law.
MPs, right, the MPs, they did what they wanted because they knew the reality of the situation. But they made everybody else behave in a different way. And that scared everybody stupid, and everybody obeyed the rules. So the investigation really needs to go into why did they do that? Why did they lock down people for so long? Why did they make all those rules? You know,
but here we are.
Need to know that.
The investigation is now complete. You know, we've got a statement from the acting Deputy Commissioner Helen Ball from the Met Police, and saying the information we received with regard to alleged breaches in Downing Street and Whitehall was sufficient to reach our criteria to begin such an investigation. It was thorough, impartial, completed as quickly as we could, and given the amount of information that needed to be reviewed and the importance of ensuring that we had a strong evidence for each fixed penalty notice referral. So they feel that they've done their job, belt and braces. It's done now. Is it now time to move on? Or are we going to lumber into, well, what is the Sue Gray report? Or do we draw a line under it?
Yeah,
I think the way that...
You think we should draw a line under it?
Yeah, because I think we need to get back to basics, the actual basics of what happened over the last 2 years. Not whether they had a cake at a party or not what the MPs actually did. I don't care. I actually don't care what they did. But see, I care what they did to the country and what they did to people with struggling businesses and mental health and physical health as well, what they've done to the NHS.
OK, so you want to draw a line under Partygate and look perhaps more at a public inquiry at the way they handled the last years.
If you think back to a few months ago, there was nobody that was put forward from the government to talk to us that didn't just give us the Sue Gray. Sue Gray, Sue Gray.
Wait for the Sue Gray, wait for the Sue Gray.
They treated us like absolute idiots. Just wait for the Sue Gray point, whilst kicking the can down the road, hoping they would get to this point where everyone goes, oh, Sue Gray.
I
mean, who cares? It's really important.
I feel really
care.
sorry.
They wanted you to care about something that wasn't important.
I think we should spare a thought for Sue Gray. Everybody knows her name. That poor woman. That poor woman. Her name has been in the press every day.
Well, yeah.
None of us know her. She didn't ask to be in the limelight.
No.
At least we can do is pay notice to her report.
Well, I mean, she will put flesh on the bones of this, but, you know, we do have to remember 126 fines were issued here. That is actually quite a lot of fines. It's interesting, yesterday we were talking about, you know, whether or not people who shoplift in order to feed their family, you know, whether the police should go easy on them and overlook it, or whether a crime's a crime. And there was a kind of feeling, well, a crime's a crime.
Yeah.
So it should be the same, isn't it?
Yeah.
A crime is a crime and it should be regarded as such. But we will spare a thought for Sue Gray.
Let's all spare a thought.
Yeah.